Mm, my bad. Do you really want to see Abner Maris versus Leo Santa Cruz too? Honestly, if we know, okay, we know it's going to be a good fight, right? We know it's going to be a good fight, but do you really want to see it? Now, one thing I must state is that the WBA did order the fight about 3 or so months ago. So, in a way, I kind of knew what was happening. It's just I didn't know when. So, the date is supposed to be September the 9th in LA. They were trying to secure the card with Santa Cruz versus Maris and on Anthony Durrell versus Colin Smith from the UK. So, as you know, Leon Santa Cruz fought last in January of this year. It's going to actually be a nice husky layoff for him, but if you really look at it, he's been, pretty active. 3 times in 2015 he fought, 2 times in 2016, and then he's going to fight 2 times in 2017 once this fight gets finalized. Now, one good thing about Leo Santa Cruz is, remember, at one point in time, he was fighting nobody and in sparring partners and shit, and he was getting the Mayweather undercard treatment for a while. So if you look at it, Abner Maris, when he fought Abner Maris, that was a highly anticipated fight. A fight actually that should have happened 2 years before it actually did. But the fact that when we got it, it was a good-ass fight. It was on my birthday, by the way. I would never forget. My grandmother's funeral was the day before. I hate talking about it. He fought Kinko Martinez. That was still a big fight, a meaningful fight at the time, even though Kinko Martinez is done at this point in time, in my opinion. And he fought Cole Frampton twice. The first fight, he lost, so that people felt that he did win, but it was like one of them 50-50 type things where it was like people were fine with the Cole Frampton victory and he wasn't calling it a robbery. Then he went and outworked Cole Frampton in a second fight in a very close fight. Cole Frampton wanted him to come over to Ireland to fight him. Leo Santa Cruz had agreed, but news came out that Leo Santa Cruz's father was like, yo, we don't want to go over there. So the Cole Frampton 3 fight is still in the mix, but now we're getting Abner Maris 2. Now, Abner Maris, if you really look at it, is in a really, really, really tough spot. Now, his last win, which was in December of last year against Jesus Cuellar, was a fight where people were like, yo, he's probably going to get knocked the fuck out. And he ended up winning against Cuellar, pretty much like outboxing him and even knocking him down. So he looked good, but at the same time, I look at it like, well, this layoff, and I don't remember, was Abner Maris hurt in between him? Because even though the WB had ordered him to fight Leo Santa Cruz, I believe in March. That's when they ordered it, if I'm correct. Go look it up. You're wondering, like, why is he fought in December, and now, he'll be fighting, in September. That's like, what, a 10-month layoff? It's like, I don't know, like, why such a long layoff? But either way, I can understand that, he probably was waiting for the big money fight, against Leo Santa Cruz. So, it's looking like the fight is going to be on Showtime, if I'm correct. Could they put that on free TV? What other free TV dates do they have? We don't know. I'm just thinking that it probably is going to be on Showtime. But when it comes to the rematch, Leo Santa Cruz's work rate is outrageous. Dude be throwing like 1,000 punches a fight, and he just keep throwing. And also, he's getting better as a boxer. Remember, in the second fight against Cole Frampton, we saw a boxer at Leo Santa Cruz where he actually outboxed Cole Frampton. So not only can he be the pressure-fighting power puncher, but he does have some boxing skills. And he's a likable guy. Everybody likes Leo Santa Cruz. But looking at the 126-pound division, of course, even though he's just a division below, everybody's looking at, well, what about Guillermo Rigondeaux? And let's go look at the 126-pound division as a whole. Now, you got Leo Santa Cruz, WBA Super World Champion. Cole Frampton still is considered the second best in the division, even though in his next fight he's fighting at 130 pounds. You got Gary Russell Jr., who's, just inactive and not fighting anybody. He's got the WBC. You got Abner Maris, the WBA World. You got Scott Quigg out there still trying to find himself a little bit. He's with Freddie Roach, and you got also inactive, not to any fault of his own, Lee Selby, who's the IBF champion. Then you got Oscar Valdez, Cuellar, Josh Warrington, Jojo Diaz, and Oscar Escandón. Those guys on like the outside looking in. But after Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris, it either has to be either Cole Frampton, but truth be told, I want to see either Gary Russell or Lee Selby because it's time for these guys to start unifying and going after these belts. And if you notice, Heyman's been about that with his fight. It's like, okay, now, now that you fought each other, it's time to go after your belt. And if you look at it, all these guys, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Gary Russell, Abner, Lee Selby, are all Al Heyman guys. So those fights are easy to make. And Gary Russell, in his situation, he can't play no politics because, truth be told, even though his last fight was his mandatory right against, who was it again? Not Oscar Escandón. Patrick Hyland was the mandatory. So now he should be fighting another mandatory, or it's like you got to unify, bro. One time in 2015 he fought when he won the title, one time in 2016, one time in 2017. And yes, he did have an injury in between then, but also he had that little bit of a scandal where he put out in the media. Was it on Showtime where he said, or was it, I think it was on Showtime, an interview where he said, that he should be making more money. And it's like, yo, bro, you're not fighting. You see what I'm saying? So, the 126-pound division is deep, and it's about time that these guys start fighting each other. So, Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner 2 is pretty much all but done outside of the, having a venue secure in the network. But we can expect that to be announced, any day now. It's supposed to be on September the 9th, if I'm correct. Let me go look at the date to make sure that's a Saturday, to make sure that there's no bad intel out there. September the 9th, yeah. And they're going to do it in Cali, and it makes sense, right? It makes sense for it to be in Cali, So, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.